Hey everybody, how's it going? REA here. I'm just want to apologize. I've been meaning to make another video. The idea was to make one of these short videos every week or so to talk about some sort of a prepper topic. We've been kind of, at least the last series of videos I made were medical in nature, and I'm going to continue that on today. Somebody sent me a message in the message group regarding what to do in the event of a knife injury. If someone were to attack you with a knife and you had to manage either yourself or somebody else who was injured with a knife. Really, it's kind of a complicated question. There's different types of injuries you can get from a knife, and different body parts that can be affected. And so it depends on where the knife attack occurs, specifically where the injury is located, as to how you would appropriately manage that in the pre-hospital setting. Meaning, once you're in the hospital, things are going to be different, but we're really talking about, what to do in a survival situation. You're out in the backcountry on a trail, or you're on the street and get attacked, and the police are not there, the EMTs are not there, and you have to do something in the short term before help arrives. What do you do in the event of a knife attack? So I guess backing up a little bit before we get to the actual injuries, how do you protect yourself from getting a knife attack to begin with? And that's going to vary based on state, local, laws, federal laws, or if you're in another country, the laws that are in place in the country where you live. Always make sure that you're following the laws of the location where you live. Ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking the law, so always make sure that you know what the laws are in your area and that you are abiding by them appropriately, and that if you're carrying some sort of a weapon, that you have some level of training in it, that you're legally allowed to carry that weapon, and that you use it only to defend yourself or defend others, right? Disclaimer with this video, just like with all other videos, these are my personal opinions. This does not represent in any way the opinions of the United States government, the military, nothing like that. And that any medical topics that we discuss here are for informational purposes only. You shouldn't use these to diagnose, treat any diseases. You should make sure that you're getting appropriate training to do these things. But in a pinch, these are ways that you can potentially save your own life or save somebody else's life. All right, knives. Knife wounds, that's very common. It's most places it's legal to carry a knife. I'm not sure about major metropolitan cities like Washington D.C. or New York City, to make sure that you're following local laws. But a knife is something that people have, and they're easy to conceal. It's easy to attack someone with it, and they can cause a lot of damage. They're not as damage producing as a firearm, but they're definitely more damage producing than someone with bare hands alone. So I would recommend that if you are in pretty much any situation, I always have a knife on me, always. Even when I'm carrying, because I have a concealed carry permit that's legal in my state and a lot of other states. I'm usually carrying a firearm. Even when I carry a firearm, I've got a knife. I've always got a knife on me. I've got a knife on me when I'm at work. I've got a knife on me when I go to the grocery store. I always have some sort of a pocket knife on me. Like I said, they're easy to conceal. They don't take up a lot of space. And most places it's legal to carry a knife. If anybody asks, why do you have a knife? You're like, I don't know, I like to whittle. I like to, sometimes I like to open, packages, whatever. There's lots of, it's a multi-use tool, but certainly it can be used for self-defense. Whenever I go for a run, I have my pocket knife like with me. I don't usually run with a firearm. You can do that, but I don't usually do that, but I usually do have a knife with me. So that being said, if someone pulls a knife on you, what are you gonna do? The safest thing that you can do is get out of there, right? So if someone pulls a knife on you and you're able to escape from that situation, that would be my recommendation. Get out of the situation and call for help. That's presumably that society hasn't broken down. There's still a police force. Call 911. Get somebody there to help you if you get attacked by somebody who has a knife. That if you're able to escape, you should definitely escape. Option number 2, if you have a concealed carry permit and you are trained to use a firearm, you have a firearm on you, that would be a good time to pull that firearm out. Pulling out the firearm is brandishing. So putting your hand on it, making it obvious that you have it, or pulling it out, that is brandishing. And that is one step short of a direct threat, which would be pointing it at somebody. So brandishing would be like letting the person with the knife know that, okay, you've got a knife, I've got a gun, and you're gonna lose this fight, and maybe they'll run away. I don't know. Once you brandish, like you're making a direct, you're making a threat, I guess an indirect threat to the person with the knife. If they do not run away and they continue to approach you with a knife, the next step would be to point the firearm at them. That is a direct threat, And once you point a gun at somebody, you should be prepared to pull the trigger. If they continue to approach you, then you're within your rights to defend your own life. If somebody's coming at you with a knife, you've got a firearm, you've gone through what we call escalation of force. I have brandished, I have pointed it at somebody, making a direct threat to them, and they're still coming at me. I really have no option but to fire on that person, that individual. God forbid. All right, so what if you don't have a firearm? Well, you should have a knife, right? You should have a knife on you. I have a knife on me. I got this for like $30 on Amazon. If you're interested, it's a Kershaw knife. It's very sturdy. It's not spring loaded. So it's just a regular old knife. Some municipalities, spring-loaded knives are going to cause you problems. It's got a great blade on it. It's got a hefty handle, and it's fairly easy to utilize. It's got a retention clip on it that makes it easy for me to put into my pocket. I'm just going to kind of show you like how low of a profile that is. It doesn't, I mean, it's there, but it's not going to be super obvious to people. Most people don't consider that threatening if you're just walking around with a knife. Yeah, I would pull this knife out, and I would let the person who's attacking me with a knife know that I also have a knife, and now we're in a knife fight. And that might give somebody pause. That may be enough to give them the idea that you're not going to be a soft target. You are not going to cower and be afraid, and that maybe they should leave you alone. And while you're brandishing that knife, you should be backing up out of that situation, because unless you're like an expert of knife fighting, you're like a Eskrima master or something like that. Like, I would not recommend getting into a knife fight with anybody to begin with, right? You can get a plastic knife or something with your friend or your spouse, and you guys get into a plastic knife fight and see how many times you get cut. You don't want to be in a knife fight, all right? Don't get into a knife fight. That would be my best advice. So that being said, there's different ways to attack somebody with a knife, which we can demonstrate really quickly. This is not really a knife fighting video. You know, you can probably YouTube a million YouTube videos about knife fighting. I would take everything you see on there with a grain of salt. Knife fighting is one of the most difficult things that you might have to do. It's more difficult than hand-to-hand fighting, and in a lot of ways it's more difficult than firearms. It's not as lethal as a firearm, but defending yourself against a knife attack is very difficult. So just some basic rules. So if somebody attacked me with a knife, I get my knife out. There's two different ways to hold it, right? I can hold it, I guess this would be the normal way, the natural way, the way of, if I was gonna chop tomatoes or something, I would be holding it more or less in a forward-facing fashion. All right, the other way to hold it would be with a reverse grip. A reverse grip, you're holding it backwards, kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen like horror movies where people are stabbing like that. So if somebody's holding the knife, you know, like this, chances are they want to cut you, right? They want to slice you this way, that way. They might try to stab you, right? So somebody could try to stab you, they're probably going to try to slash you. If somebody's holding it like this, to me, this represents somebody that knows a little bit about what they're doing. If you're holding a knife like this, I would be more worried about somebody holding the knife like this because in addition to like the slasher film way of attacking, you can also slash, you know, the knife in various ways, and it's easy to do puncture wounds or stabs. But you notice that the stabs are coming from top to bottom here, and this is hard to defend against, you know, because I can move my wrist and my elbow, and it's going to be very hard to defend against. But the stab is going to be coming down, whereas if I'm holding it like this, the stab is going to be coming forward. All right, so I kind of gave away a little bit about the two different types of knife attacks. There's going to be stabs, which are puncture wounds in medical terms, a puncture wound, or there's going to be a cut, a slice, that is going to be a laceration, So those are the two different types of knife attacks that are going to cause injuries that we are going to have to deal with. Now, if you're defending yourself against a knife, your torso and your groin like areas are the areas that you really, I guess your neck, you know, your eyes, your head, all of your your axial part of your body are the parts that you want to defend. You don't want somebody to cut or stab you in the face, in the throat, in the chest. You know, in the chest, you're not as worried about cuts, but you're worried about puncture wounds. And in the abdomen, you're definitely worried about a puncture wound to the abdomen. The groin, same thing. You got major blood vessels running through your inguinal area here. All right, so you got to defend that. So how do you defend that? The simplest way, really, is to use your arms. To block any incoming knife attacks. And you just need to go ahead and understand that you're going to get cuts on your arm. You just have to have it in your mind. If I'm in a knife fight, hopefully I've got my own knife, right? And but like I'm making big blocking movements with my arms, and I'm trying to keep my body as far away from that knife as possible. You've got to keep your arms forward and your body back, and try to keep that knife away from your head, neck, torso as much as possible. This is like general advice. Really, you need to practice knife fighting, and I don't know, go sign up for some classes, watch some YouTube videos, practice with your spouse. If nothing else, it'll teach you like how almost impossible it is to protect yourself against a knife attack.